What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another account progression video. Alright, so it's time to get another tier 2, and we're going to be getting Ultron to tier 2 today. So probably a little surprising choice here. So I'm tier 2ing Ultron because one, he is a discounted character, so he costs half the materials to tier 2 naturally, and also because he is a universal character and a universal villain at that, so he could be useful in Shadowland, and also because I do want to get my Valor up a little bit for World Boss Ultimate. Any universal that I can tier 2 is more than welcome right now, because I've seen just how much a few points of Valor can affect the difficulty of World Boss Ultimate, because I was going from running out of time clearing one of the stages to having like a whole minute left over, and I think my Valor only went up by about like 15 points or something like that, so it can make a pretty big difference. But anyway, enough about that. Let's take a look at Ultron here before we tier 2 him. Alright, so look at his skills here. So the only skill that I have leveled up is the 5th skill here. So we have the summon illusions for 40% of summoner stats. So he gets all his minions, but they're only 40% of his stats, so they're quite weak. But they're really good for kind of distracting and pulling aggro because there are so many of them. So that's what's nice about them. And then over here, when we get him to tier 2, we are going to get a little bit of a boost to those summons, luckily. So we get increased to skill damage and bonus damage. We got 15% and 10%, so a little bit of a boost to his regular skill damage there. And then we have a 20% increase to all attack and defense of summoned characters. And then finally a 15% increase to HP. And then they last 10% longer for the summon. So really nice. We should be able to keep them up the entire time. I think we can pretty much anyway now. What do we got? Pretty close, yeah. So we can keep them up all the time, and they'll be a little tougher at tier 2, so that's very nice. As ISO weight set, we have binary power. I just never got around to changing this. This was the first set that I rolled for Ultron here, and it does help his survivability, of course, to have that HP shield, so that's kind of why I just left it. But definitely, since his summons can pull aggro, and since he got a little bit of a rework, not so recently anymore, but he has more iframes now, so he's a little bit tougher to deal with. You can definitely go with an attack-based set on him. Probably Power the Angry Hulk or Overdrive would suit him a little bit better, or DDE if you still want to go with a little bit of survivability. You get that HP shield, because then you have some attack stats on the ice weight set, because as you can see here, we don't have any attack stats, and definitely all attack would be nice because it will apply to his summons, so it would definitely be something to try for. And then right here for our Obelisk, we just have a lightning damage with Invincibility. Went with lightning damage because one of his most damaging skills, as you can see down here, is lightning damage. Oh yeah, we do have this one leveled up. I kind of forgot about that. That was part of his rework, was he now gets a buff on this skill here, which is really nice actually, because he gets an all attack increase by 15%, all defense 15%, and all speed by 15%. And then finally, he also gets a guard against 5 hits for 5 seconds, so really helps out his survivability as well. So definitely really like this change to this skill. And if you can see down here in the text, using the electronic field grants the benefits to all ally characters. So that means it will apply to his summons here. So using this skill will buff his summons, which is really nice. Alright, now let's go back over to the Obelisk here, and then we do have Invincibility, and that's just to help out with his survivability, because when he does end up getting targeted and hit, he dies quite quickly, so he definitely needs those summons to distract for him, so that's why I went with Invincibility. But you can still put a damage proc on him, just try to line it up with his 4th skill, and you should see some pretty nice numbers from that. So he's definitely not a invincibility only character. I think you can build him either way. I just happen to go with invincibility on him. And then finally, we have all of his free uniforms. You can just choose whichever one you feel like equipping based on your needs. You have speed, combat, and blast, I think it is, he gets advantage towards. But anyway, I think that's everything we need to go over here. So let's go ahead and get him advanced to tier 2. So like I said, I'm going to be using materials because he is a discounted one, so I don't really see the need in using a tier 2 ticket. So let's go ahead and advance him. Boom, there we go. Alright, so now we got Ultron at tier 2. Very nice. Overclock. Yep, gets a little bit stronger. So let's go ahead and back out here. So what are we going to have? Like father, like son, eh? Alright. So now that we have Ultron tier 2, let's go ahead and try him out a little bit. Alright, so here we are at floor 5 for Shadowland, and this is the perfect stage to use Ultron on because we have universal villain types have an advantage here, and yeah, he gets to fight all of the other iterations of himself to prove that he is the superior Ultron. But anyway, we're going to be using his own leadership here for the 24% all attack, and then we are actually going to be throwing in 2 other characters here. We have Maximus and the superior Spider-Man, and they're pretty much here to try to help Ultron survive, because Ultron, even at tier 2, he's still going to have trouble surviving, and also his damage is still quite low. So yeah, he's going to need the help. So let's go ahead and hop in here, because we have Maximus has extra summons to help distract, and then we have, of course, Superior Spider-Man for the webbing, so we can get a little bit of extra crowd control that way, and hopefully Ultron will be able to get through this. And Maximus and Superior Spider-Man should not be doing any damage, because you do need to have universal villains, so all of the damage is going to be from Ultron here, because they will be just doing 1 damage. Alright, so it's working well to at least keep all of the other Ultrons busy and not attack me, so that's good. Ooh, shouldn't have done that. Get out of there, Ultron. Alright, so far not so bad. As you can see from all those 1s there, that should be the other 2 in the party, so all this damage should just be from my Ultrons, because I don't think I should be getting any help from them. Unless, oh, actually, I just noticed one of Maximus summons are universal, so actually I am getting a little bit of help from him. But see how long this is taking still? Even a tier 2 Ultron on floor 5 having a little bit of difficulty here. And if we didn't have those other 2 in here to help distract, Ultron would probably be dead by now, because he still doesn't have much survivability. He has more iframes, because he has an iframe on his 2nd skill, his 3rd skill, and his 5th skill that can help him out, but it's just not enough to keep him alive, because they're very short iframes, so you can't really chain together iframes. Alright, we're down to the last one. And let's finish him off with, yep, there we go, with the 4th skill. Alright, so Ultron was able to do it, but like I said, I needed that bit of help in distracting the other Ultrons, so overall, I mean, Ultron is definitely not going to be one of your first choices as a tier 2, because he's still quite weak. He's really low on the power level compared to a lot of other characters, so I wouldn't rank him very highly on his value of, you know, using resources on, but you know, I wanted a universal character, so he still fills that niche that I need of universal villain. And at tier 2 is, of course, going to be better than tier 1, so you can do, you know, a little bit extra for you, but he's definitely a character that you only want to work on if you just have extra resources laying around, or if you really like Ultron, because he is better with his rework, but like I said, he still does need help in the damage and survivability department. But anyway, that's just going to be my thoughts on Ultron here. Still happy to add him to my tier 2 roster. Going to be using him a little bit more in Shadowland just to try him out on other floors besides this one, and also to, of course, enjoy that nice, juicy 5 points of valor that I get for having him at tier 2. But anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.